To making a great pitch. I heard about a study that was done at Harvard University, and it was conducted by Helen Langer and a team of researchers. And this study was done into the nature of agreement and compliance. In other words, how do you get people to say yes? Now, in my line of work as a pitch coach, and having been recognized as the U.S. National Elevator Pitch Champion, true story, persuasion is my trade and my business. And so when I read about this story, this research into persuasion, I thought, this is fascinating. I've got to check this out. So what did these researchers do to help people be more persuasive? And here's what these researchers did. They went into libraries where people were lined up to use the copy machine. Now, this was a few years ago. But they went into these libraries where people were lined up to use the copy machine, and they walked in and they said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 5 copies. Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 5 copies. This is my good side, by the way." Okay. What percentage of the time, I ask you, do you think people said, "Yeah, sure, you can make copies"? What percentage would you say, my friend?
100%.
Wait, who said 100%?
100%.
100%? Who else said 100%? You think it's on the front row? Why 100%?
Because you told them just 5 copies.
It was 5 copies and they asked nicely.
Because it was 5 copies and they asked nicely. Okay, does everybody think 100%? Does anybody not think it's 100%? You don't think it's 100%? What do you think it is, Ray? What do you say?
25%.
25%? Why so low, Ray?
Because there was nothing that bonded them beforehand. It's just a random stranger who wanted to do something.
There it is, 25%. Also, Ray is from New Jersey. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's right. So 25%, 100%, we've got a room divided. The actual answer, 60%. 6 times out of 10, people said yes. Did that surprise you? It surprised the researchers, and they said, well, let's see if we can introduce a variable. Maybe we can introduce something that would change the outcome. So they went into libraries where people were lined up to use the copy machine, and they walked in and they said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 5 copies because I'm in a hurry." "Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 5 copies because I'm in a hurry." What do you think happened to the results?
Got worse.
Lower. You said went down.
Automatically.
Went down. Went down, right? How many of you think that it went down? It went up. It went up. Get this, I'm not kidding. It went up to 94%. What? 94% of the time, people said, "Yeah, sure, you can make copies." The researchers were stunned. They said, "This is amazing. Maybe it's just because we gave a reason. Maybe if we use the word because, it's like a magic word." Oh my gosh, we're Harvard scientists. We don't deal in magic words. We introduce variables. We test hypotheses, right? So they decided to introduce a new variable. They went back into libraries. People lined up to use the copy machine. They walked in and they said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 5 copies because I have to make copies." What do you think happened to the result? He says, "Just make the copies." Okay. One of the things you'll see in pitch competitions is people reject the premise of the question. But for those of you that are still with me, do you think the number went up or down? Stayed about the same? Who said stayed about the same? The force is strong with you, my friend, because it went down, but only to 93%. Only to 93%. The researchers were stunned. They said, "This is it. We've figured it out. We just need to offer a reason. We have to offer that because." But they didn't stop there. They went back into libraries where people are lined up to use the copy machine. They walked in and they said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I cut in line? I have to make 20 copies because I'm in a hurry, because I have to make copies." Now what do you think happens to the results? Through the floor. Way, way, way down. Why?
I'm in a hurry too.
Too many.
Absolutely. Who said I'm in a hurry too? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the thing that the researchers realized is that it was unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations. They asked, it was a bridge too far. So what's the takeaway from the Langer study? What can we learn from this? The takeaway is don't go for 20. Don't go for 20. Go for 5, 4 times. And remember the importance of the word because. Now, sometimes I'll do a version of this presentation in front of a college audience where the room is filled with a number of single gentlemen. And they hear about the power of the word because. And they think to themselves, wow, what if I go into an eating or drinking establishment and I see a beautiful woman and I walk up to her and I say, excuse me, would you like to come home with me because? And for these groups, I have to say, realistic expectations. You see, because isn't a magic word, but it's a very powerful word. It's the way that we answer the question, why? I mean, any of you have kids? I mean, when my kids, what do they say to me? Why, Daddy, why? Oh, yeah. You know what I say to them? Because 100%. Well, it's a little nicer and a little gentler in my house. I just say, no. But you're on the right track. So, because is a powerful word. It's a persuasive word. And ladies and gentlemen, it's because of you that we are here. It's because you're interested in making an impact for yourself personally, for the people you're about to see on stage. And so I want to call on you because we're here because of you. They say that you give a pitch. That means that it is a gift. It is something that is offered to you in the spirit of persuasion, in the spirit of information. But what makes a pitch more than a presentation is that a pitch is compelling. So as you listen to the pitches tonight, listen for what it is that is compelling. And remember that tonight, a pitch is a conversation. It's a dialogue. It's an opportunity for you to get involved. And you'll hear more about that later tonight as we talk about the mingle portion of the event. But right now, I want to turn it over, if I can find him, to the man in the tie. There he is, the man in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Mike Humphrey.